Hello everyone, Treecks here and welcome back to Croc, Legend of the Gobbos. And this was my attempt in trying to sound serious, because we are at the final world of this game, where things get serious. Dante himself is going to be hidden here. But first we need to plow our way through his world, trying to reach the top of the castle where he's going to be hidden. The first two stages were done, and now we are at stage 4-3, Dungeon of Defright. Which is for some weird reason my favorite stage in this game. Allow me to show you off why. And also why it's actually so strange. Because normally I'm a big fan of challenging platforming stages. This one actually is not one of those kind of stages. It starts off pretty nasty because we don't get any health and we immediately need to try to avoid one of these guys, which are pretty difficult to avoid. Be careful for the living armor here. And that reminds me, I also need to ask Baron Dante where you actually buy stuff like that. I want that in my house. Okay, here's the health finally, so the way back is going to be easier. And now let's go use the key and actually find out what kind of stage this is. Because like I said, it's not going to be a standard platforming stage. Here we need to do something different. And room 2 is going to introduce us to that. Welcome to minigame time! Remember all the minigames we actually played in this game? Yep, and this stage is going to be a gauntlet of that. Now hopefully I actually saw correctly. Trying to talk through this minigame is not per se smart, but luckily this minigame is not too difficult. Not even the sniping dudes can actually improve on this minigame's difficulty. But that is going to be the gist of this stage. Minigame after minigame after minigame. Okay, here's number 2. The cat and mouse chase. Try to make it a little bit more difficult by hanging the spider dudes around. The minigame itself does not change. Okay, there we go. And also take note of the fact that the door is actually barricaded, as you can see. There's no way back the moment you actually move on to the next room. So all of these minigames need to be cleared in one go. Okay, here's the third one. This is actually my least favorite one. This one is easiest to actually lose. Especially since this one actually requires you to catch every single one of these crystals. Because the Gobbo won't appear until the very final one. And even if you miss one of them, the minigame ends, everything disappears and you need to retry the entire stage if you want to try again. Because, like I said, the door barricades behind you. So this is not a matter of leaving the room, returning and trying again. You cannot do that in this stage. So even though this is not a platforming challenge kind of level, it is still very challenging. Because this gauntlet actually requires you to do things perfectly. Every single one of these minigames. Using the L1 and R buttons is definitely the easiest way to do this, I think. You can try to turn around and just use the D-pad in order to move around. However, if you do that, it actually usually flinks the camera in a situation where you can't actually see what's going on. And this way you actually still have the camera behind you and you can still move left and right. Just remember never to use the D-pads to go left or right, because Croc will turn around if you do. Only if you use the L1 and R1 buttons you can actually stay in this perspective. And I think in that way this minigame is the easiest. But okay, here we go. If you just stay calm, this one should be doable. Okay, number 4 is going to be my favorite one, because this is actually the cheesable one. The buttons that are attached to each other and therefore we can just walk back and forward. The only minigame where we don't really have to pay attention. And therefore we can actually pay attention to the weird sound effects that the Reaper guys actually make. Oh, let's not fall off in the meantime. I missed a couple, help. Okay, that is exactly how a cartoony horror fantasy would sound in my dreams. Gotta love that. But okay, that was number 4. For number 5, something tricky is going to be happening. This final room is actually going to be, sorry to say it, but a guessing game. As you can see, we have 3 doors, and only one of them is the correct one. And yes, it's not that tricky, it's always going to be the same one, so the moment you know, you can actually remember that. Need to place this guy at one of these doors. Use this pump, which is for some reason connected to him. And when he blows up, the door opens up. And if you pick the left one, remember the left one, you will actually find a lot of goodies. Including 4 1-ups, 1 Gobbo, and 4 crates containing the remaining 4 colored crystals we have not seen in this level yet. All 4 of them are going to be here. If you pick one of the other doors, you will actually only find the gong and nothing else. Forcing you to end the stage and try again. But then armed with the knowledge of which door is incorrect. And that way you can actually eventually deduce yourself to this being the correct door. Okay, this final room is going to be nothing but dark dungeon. We need to follow some pathways, which is easy, just follow along the crystals. There's going to be some minor hindrances here and there, most of all these sniper Dantinis. And of course the armors that I still want to buy. Just placing a random armor in your hallway is too boring. They have to be alive, they have to be moving. I could always still just buy a regular armor and also hire a dude that's going to be in there for the entire day and actually starts moving the moment someone passes. That would also be an interesting idea. Perhaps that is actually how Dante himself actually solved this problem. You would think these armors are haunted, but I'm actually pretty sure there's just some Dantini hiding in it. But okay, if you've reached the end, you'll find a Gobbo, and then return to the beginning where you will find the gong. 6 Gobbos in hand, and this stage is done. Definitely by far the hardest stage in this game so far, to get all 6 of the Gobbos. But if you do, or even if you don't, because this stage actually always appears of course, this is the boss stage, we will reach stage 4B1, Fosly's Freaky Donut. Before facing Baron Dante himself, first it's time for a different boss. Ooh, it's a little Dantini boy. And Dante is not even bothering anymore, he's just, zap. But our little boy grew big, very sudden. And his balloon is also a thing. Apparently this is going to be the next boss. Yeah, even the Dantini society has little boys. And that's what we're facing next. But first a couple of rooms in order to challenge us somewhat. And of course give us health in order to take on the boss. Okay, these platforms are interesting. Stepping on these will actually make them disappear. Slowly. But still, they are platforming challenges. Luckily they respawn, so you can easily get over here. For more health. And a 1-up. Ooh, the magical 50 has been reached. Let's hope to stay above that. The later we get in this game, the more tricky it becomes, so losing 1-ups is also pretty easy at this point. Okay, it's really necessary to spawn that high up in the room. If we're just going to fall down immediately. But okay, this is another just keep on moving kind of room. The fact that these platforms disappear shouldn't bother you as long as you don't stop. After room number 2, as per tradition, we find the boss arena. So it's time to finally meet Fosly over here. And Balloon Boy over here actually has these balloons as his main gimmick, as you may expect. It makes him hang around at the center of the spit, unreachable, at least for us. But we do get some of these trampolines over here, these platforms that actually fling up the moment we touch them. And we can use them in order to fling his bombs back to him. As you can see, he throws some bombs at us. If we actually lure these guys onto these platforms, and if we position ourselves correctly, we can actually use them to throw it back at him. And one of his balloons will pop. We need to pop all 3 of them in order to defeat him. And aiming this can be quite tricky. Okay, this looks like to be the best way to do it. Just make him throw the bomb in front of the platform. And then move backward yourself. And that way you apparently always hit him. Okay. Do it like that. And there goes the final regular boss of this game. And I must say, both of the bosses in World 3 were actually a lot more challenging. But okay, don't worry about this little guy. Of course, he's still here. He turned back to normal. And he's going to enjoy his normal balloon boy life. Okay, let's get out of here. After collecting all of the Gobbos in the first 3 stages, where the third one is definitely the most tricky one, but still, if you've got all of them, you will unlock the special stage of World 4. And of course, even World 4 has them. 4S1 is Smash and C. And this one is actually going to make use of a gimmick that we've known for quite a while now. Only this time it's going to be used as a gimmick in a way we have not seen yet. As you can see, we have these Dantinis over here, which actually walk over these boxes. And it's actually kind of Dantini we can't kill ourselves. That is interesting. So how do we kill this guy? Okay, interesting collision. Let's go see if we can squeeze ourselves in between these. Okay, the opening's not big enough for us to fall through. But speaking of falling through... Okay, that was not what I was going for. This is actually how you want to take care of this. We use the trick of not smashing our way through a box and then nudge yourself to safety. And that way create an opening in this pathway. And that is how we kill this Dantini. Open up this pathway. And this guy is stupid enough to keep on walking. And he will fall down. In a very cartoon-like way. Like it would happen in any cartoon. He first walks in thin air. And only the moment he realizes he's on thin air, only then he will fall. Kill all of them for a key. That is how this works. And this stage is going to be nothing more than varying a couple of ways in order to do this. It's all going to come down to the same kind of deal. Making these guys plummet down to their doom. By opening up their little pathways that they apparently take for granted because they don't even bother looking where they're going. And kill every single one of these guys. Because our tail is apparently not enough for that. Thank you. Room number 3. Okay, now we're going to do it like this. I'm already starting to feel like this is becoming repetitive. But unfortunately, it is what we have to do. Would have been nice if there were some other challenges in between, I feel, but yeah, this is the kind of stage where I feel like a gimmick is fun and everything, but you don't want to overuse the gimmick either. And that's a mistake this stage is definitely making. This is a clear example of overusing a gimmick. And this is a clear example of, oh, I missed! The stage's gimmick is so repetitive that I apparently have way too much of a hurry to get through it, and I start making mistakes. But speaking of having a hurry, that's actually something you can do in a stage like this, if you have not noticed. You actually don't have to stay around looking at these guys falling to their doom. It will still happen, even if you're at the other side of the room. Just open up the box, you can immediately move away. These guys never despawn, so even if you're all the way at the other side of the room, they will still fall. Eventually you will hear the woo! These guys sometimes do take a pretty long time before they actually fall. Especially if you open up one of the boxes that they just passed. And therefore it takes a little bit before they actually reach that point again. Oh, the puzzle piece is already here. In that case, I'm actually curious what this will do. Nothing apparently. Okay. Okay guys, remember this. In this final room you actually don't have to kill these guys. Puzzle piece number 7. Let's move on back to the main pathway. Special stages are fun and everything, but World 4 is up next. Ballistic Mags, Fairway. And the name Ballistic Mag is currently question mark. But that can meet our new gimmick, our new type of foe. Ballistic Mag is actually, as you may expect by the name, a ballistic enemy, and therefore saying he moves really fast. So fast in fact that he pretty much teleports to his next position, as you can see. So be on the lookout for where he's going to appear, and also be on the lookout for his trail, because he moves so fast he leaves behind a trail of fire, and yes, that can also hit you. That's going to be the main gimmick here. Okay, and another new addition to our platformer arsenal are these kind of platforms. Spiky on one end and smooth on the other end. And of course, that second one is what we're going to want to use in order to cross them. Not the first one. Make sure their spiky side is never up. Okay, room number 2. First, let's loan these crystals from Mrs. D. Okay, Gobbos, that's pretty easily gotten. Oh, be careful! Luckily the balloon does not land on him. Okay, there might be a colored crystal to the left over here. Because otherwise, why would this be here? Yeah, predictable. Okay, the door over there is locked. So we need to go look for a key in here, probably. And that would also be predictable. Oh, but there's going to be another key somewhere, because there's also a cage in here. Hi, little guy. On my way. First need to find myself a key. Okay, blue crystal over here. Okay, now you guys are just moving very small distances. I think just normal walking would be faster. Getting yourself ready in position to make your sudden jumps is actually taking more time than when you would start walking normally. Okay, let's not forget about you. Thank you. Let's move back, because of course continuation is not over here. We saw that was in the previous room, we just needed to have a big key for that. So even if you're not going for 100%, don't care about the Gobbos, even then you need to go in here. Continuation key is required. So let's open the door while still hanging on the grating. Ah, no ballistic mag anymore it seems. But we do still have these flying Dantinis hanging around here. No, correction, they are flying around here. We are the ones hanging around here. I want to keep doing that by not being hit by these guys. So let's kill you. Or maybe not. Never mind, he's not going to be a hindrance anymore. I don't necessarily have to kill you. Okay, let's wait for our little platform. And why is there no Dantini for me to kill here? I want enemies to hinder me. But I'll get my wish. I can see there was one over there. Would have been more challenging if they actually hindered you on these gratings over here, because here you can actually not attack them. Would be a lot more tricky. But they're only placed in the platform areas. Okay, and this one makes relatively small circles. Bam! Bam! No! This is not turning out the way I wanted to. And I can remember talking a couple of episodes ago about how I actually got the timing down for these guys. And today I'm actually proving that is not necessarily true. At least not always. Okay, Gobbos number 4. And therefore saying only one more to go. So the final room should be coming up right now. And Ballistic Mag is back again. Oh, that's not so smart. That was a bad idea. Yeah, the pathway becomes relatively small there, so avoiding his fire trail is pretty much impossible there. But apparently I'm very impatient today. Not the first time a situation like that occurred. This I can still do. Okay, a couple of ball and chains. Need to do this quickly. And I almost avoided all of them. But at least we have all the stuff, so... Let's head into the final room. And here we actually need these platforms again. The on-rail platforms. Just remember they disappear the moment they are at the end of their little trail, so don't stay on them for too long. Okay, the Ballistic Mags are pretty easy to avoid here, so... They are barely noteworthy here. Although, it does look like I need to stay in the company of this one for a while, because the next platform takes a while to spawn. Okay, here's the next one. The leftmost one. Okay, apparently not. Apparently there's not a set pattern these things actually spawn in. Okay, here it is. It only spawns half of the time, apparently, compared to the other two pathways. But anyway, here we go. I can remember having 50 lives at some point, but it's not really the case anymore. But anyway, during this stage, the 20-minute mark was reached, and therefore this is enough for today. We are reaching the end of this world already, so maybe next time we can actually finish it. Question mark. We're at world 4, 5 at least. So next time we are going to start tackling that. Thanks for watching, and see you folks when this game might possibly end. Another question mark. Thanks for watching, and see you folks next time. Treecks out.